Hotep. Yeah, this video is about the Asarian resurrection. Yeah, the story of a star. I would say it's the oldest myth or story ever recorded. In my research, I can't find anything that dates back to being older than this myth. And just to start off, the story of Asar. Asar represents human beings coming into the third dimension and all of the trials and tribulations associated with this physical life. And to start off, Asar's feud with his brother Seth. This is where the story of Cain and Abel come from, that brotherly feud. Ishmael and Isaac come from. Anytime you see a brotherly feud in these ancient stories, they're taking it from the Asarian myth and they're putting their own spin on it. And even the story Lion King is based on the Asarian myth. Whenever there's two brothers feuding, one dies and the son has to avenge the death, that's the Asarian myth. Yeah, this story is not even an Egyptian story, though it was revised. It's an Ethiopian story. Because if you look at Normus Pilate, Norma or Menes is the first dynastic king of Egypt. He unified Upper and Lower Egypt. He's the one that brought up Normus Pilate. And Normus Pilate, if you look here, you see the deities. They have the deities already, and they have the whole cosmology already put in effect. So he brings it up. Yeah, they had the whole thing. They had it already, how the whole universe was created and everything. And in the Asarian myth, Asar was said to be the king of Egypt at the time, and along with his wife and Aset, who was the queen. And Asar is said to have left Egypt and traveled the whole world to spread spirituality, civilization. But this is not to be taken literal. This is saying that the spiritual system, the craft or the school of spiritual science went around the whole planet. We can see here Indish Kush Valley. This is in the myth. It says Asar, the first place he traveled was to India. This is why even today they are still some of the most spiritual people on the planet. While black people have lost their spirituality, the Indians still have preserved some of it that we have gave them. And even the Olmecs later on, even though this is way later, this is also a Kemetic system over here in America. And if you see in the Middle East, which is called the Middle East today, the Sumerian civilization, which was another area where the Kemetic system traveled. Yeah, if you look at Buddha means the enlightened one. Buddha never existed as an actual person. It's just a title, meaning the enlightened one. This is the Asian version of Asar. And if you look at Krishna, which is another Asian deity, Krishna means the black one, and the Asar is the Lord of the perfect black. So each culture put their own spin on Kemetic science. Yes, if you even see today, in the world today, Kemetic science is still rules the world. It's obelisk over here in Washington. In America, you got them in New York. The whole Freemason system is a Kemetic school. You got pyramids on the dollar bill. You got the all-seeing eye. You got the eagle, which represents the Heru falcon. There's so much stuff, because that's the Egypt was the mouthpiece of the ancient world, and it still is the only thing speaking today. But people don't even realize that we've been trained to look elsewhere. But let me get back. And they say upon Asar's arrival back, when he came back into Egypt after his trip from spreading spirituality, he had a sexual relationship with his brother's wife, which was Nebhet. And this represents the soul becoming trapped within nature and just becoming intoxicated and forgetting all about spirituality, and we have been reduced. This represents all of us when we've come in and we just forgot how we even got here. And during this relationship with Nebhead, they produced a child, Anpu. Anpu represents half spirit and half body. It's us in our first stage. Anpu is the trained mind. He wants to get back to Asar, get back to the spiritual side. He understands real spirituality, and he represents the trained mind, the basic understanding of the physical realm. And he wants to get back and not be trapped in the physical realm. Okay, the next part of the story is Seth gets jealous, and he gets angry that Asar slept with his wife. So he plots Asar's assassination along with his conspirators, and they put Asar in a coffin. They trick Asar into going inside of a coffin, and he dies in the coffin, and it gets sent all the way up north into Syria, and it grows into the Djed. Like I have explained in the earlier video, the Djed is the spine of Asar. It's the four upper chakras: the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the seventh being the soul. And so upon Aset, she goes all the way up to Syria to find the body, to find the coffin. When she finds it, she brings it back into Egypt, and she resurrects Asar. But Seth sees Asar, and Seth sees Asar in the set, and he kills Asar one more time. He kills him again, and this time Asar, it doesn't resurrect so easy, because he chopped him up into 14 pieces. In a set, along with Anpu and Nebhet, they search around the whole Egypt to find all of the pieces, but one of the pieces was his phallus was ate by a catfish. So she finds 13 pieces of the body, and along with the help of Nebhet, Anpu, and Tahuti, she is able to put those pieces back together and resurrect him. While the other one piece became the phallus, which sustained creation throughout the whole universe. And the reason why it was 13 pieces, 13 represents the 1 and the 3. The 1 represents the thought process, and the 3 is the number for creation. So that 1 and the 3 comes together and make it a 4. The 4 is a basic number for the physical realm. The 4 elements of the universe: we got earth, you got air, you got water, and you have fire. So when she brings that together, she resurrects Asar again. And this is not the spiritual side of this story. Represents us coming in the physical realm, being in the ignorant state, and being born again through a spiritual rebirth. This is not a physical death. This represents us coming in and realizing that there's something deeper to this whole physical existence than we ever thought. So we have to be born again. This is the first resurrection story. And the reason they didn't find his phallus, and it became the obelisk, which sustained creation throughout the whole universe. And the reason why they didn't find it is because on human beings, it is the creation center for reproduction, as well as the center for all spiritual power. So we need to harness our spiritual power, which helps us in our rebirth process.